So in this video, I'm just going to briefly show an example of a pre-recorded lesson that I've been using for English and how I've stored it on Microsoft Teams. So I've got channels for each sort of topic that we're doing in English. These are just the question types that we have in English language. So if I just click on one of the question types, I've stored the videos here in files. I found that streams could be quite clunky in terms of loading and recording, actually using streams and things like that. And pupils said that when I attached the lesson to an assignment itself, if they ever wanted to re-watch the video, they had to remember which assignment it was attached to, what the assignment was called, go into the assignment, find the video that was attached to it. And they said it was much easier if it was just in files in the relevant question type folder, then they could watch it whenever they wanted. So if I just quickly show an example of a lesson, sometimes it takes a little bit longer to open if it's quite a large file. This one's got an embedded video, so it makes it a little bit larger, but it sort of takes it to a new window and then they can play it. In the bottom corner here, you can see that the whole lesson was actually only 12 minutes in terms of the teacher-led parts of it. I, of course, just said to the pupils, please pause here. You've got, they had 20 minutes in this example to answer an exam-style question, and it's paused, or they're instructed to pause it rather at various other points for them to complete the tasks. So if I just play it, just to give an example of what it looked like, again, it was just using PowerPoint. And today we are focusing on one of the last of the Big 10 questions we've looked at for the reading section of your exam. If you've forgotten what they are, they're on the screen now. So for the Big 10 markers that are in bold at the top, we've obviously done how and we've done compare and contrast. This week we are going to focus on what impression. So what do we do? So then I just talk through the exam advice of how they answer that type of question in particular. Later on there is an embedded video. So as you can hear, the sound plays fine. Obviously the sound quality wasn't great because it's filmed in a mine, but it does play embedded videos on your PowerPoint that you recorded. As they moved through the lesson then, I read through an extract for them. I thought this was really helpful, particularly for those who would have seen that amount of dense text and perhaps not read it thoroughly enough, or if they just struggle to read in general. It was always jagged and unstable. Many an elbow and knee was slashed upon its surface. So I read through that, let them get comfortable, listen to my voice for a little bit. And then when we'd gone through the extracts, here are some of the tasks. So I just told them to pause the video when they were ready to start after I'd explained the task, and then they played the video again when they were ready to start. Moving through then, they just had some modelling, like always, again just using the animations on PowerPoint to sort of structure my lesson. Some do's and don'ts, and then they just had a writing frame at the end to help them. I had some really positive feedback about the pre-recorded lessons. Again, I think it's important to remember that it doesn't have to be a really, really long video. Obviously, if you had a video that was the entire hour pre-recorded, it would be such a humongous file. And if they've got independent sections of the lessons to get on with, just explicitly telling them to pause the video, I felt worked really, really well.